Stop. Just stop and think. Because you're communicating to millions of people.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Joe Rogan stood up to guests on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Explain to people what you're talking about.
I just did. They know what I'm talking about.
No. They don't, because I don't know.
For this list, we'll be looking at heated moments when this podcast host clapped back, stood his ground, or just completely lost it when speaking to guests on his show. Which moment on this list is your favorite? Let us know below. Number 10. Brian Redban. If there's one faux pas that Joe Rogan can't tolerate on his show, it's excessive self-promotion. Former producer and co-host of the Joe Rogan Experience, Brian Redban, unfortunately learned this the hard way. Near the end of an episode with guest Justin Foster in attendance back in 2012, Redban mentions a stand-up show he did that was well received. Rogan didn't take too kindly to this, and it resulted in some long and awkward bickering between the two. Foster did what he could to diffuse the palpable tension, but to no avail, and the argument carried on far longer than it needed to. Redban was permanently replaced by Jamie Vernon shortly afterwards. Number 9. Mark Gordon. When Rogan had medical consultant Mark Gordon on his show, the latter discussed a particular supplement called glutathione. He claimed that it could not only improve the overall efficiency of one's liver in completing its bodily functions, but also cure hangovers and alleviate other side effects from alcohol consumption.
Well, it helps you with just about anything that the liver is responsible for digesting or metabolizing.
Rogan was skeptical about Gordon's claims and was astounded. He hammered Gordon, claiming that he did not know what he was talking about. He later stated that he wished he was smarter so that he could prove how wrong his guest really was. Number 8. Mikhaila Peterson. When Mikhaila Peterson, a podcast and the daughter of famous psychologist and internet celebrity Jordan Peterson, appeared on the show, the topic of exercise came up. Speaking on the matter, Peterson suggested that overweight individuals don't have the energy to exercise.
I don't know about that. Some of them maybe, but I think some of them just don't have discipline.
Rogan disagreed with the statement and went off on Peterson. He argues for the merits of focus and a forced adherence to routine, and he believes that those who don't exercise often make excuses.
These people are so crazy. They want you to believe, I don't have the energy to exercise. God damn it, everyone does. If you're alive, you can exercise.
It's a lengthy argument, and while Peterson remained unconvinced, Rogan makes sure she hears what he has to say. And as is sometimes the case, both parties oversimplify the issue, and the truth probably lies somewhere in between their two hot takes.
But people like to give themselves this excuse. I do not have the energy to do this. Whatever. If you decide that, that's true.
Number 7. Jamie KILSTEIN. During this comedian's appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, the men discuss whether it was appropriate to make jokes with regards to sexual mistreatment. The argument turns to whether this, or murder, was the worst crime, with KILSTEIN stating the former was worse. This soon spirals into a heated debate that sets Rogan off. He quickly loses his temper and actually yells at KILSTEIN, calling him crazy. He then tells him that he's talking nonsense. It is one of the few times that Rogan has truly lost his cool on his show. Number 6. MILO YIANNOPOULOS. This guest is a prominent far-right figure who is most known for his many controversial stances, to the point that it resulted in him being banned on several social media platforms.
You're not religious.
No, I believe. I don't necessarily go to mass all the time, but I
you
do
believe what?
Believe. I'm a Catholic.
As such, it was only a matter of time before their conversation got contentious. But the whole thing went completely off the rails when they both began discussing Christianity.
This
an
is
individual.
adorable.
to treat religion with the amount of contempt you do. This is what
Incorrect.
assholes do. This
No,
is
it's not what assholes
mediocre,
do. What you're
mediocre
doing,
intelligence,
is
militant
exactly what you
atheists do.
accuse feminists of doing.
No, it's
You're
not.
distorting the argument.
When Yiannopoulos described religion, specifically the Bible, as being the definitive guide to determining what is morally right and wrong, Rogan lost it.
That a person could have ethics and morals and treat each other
No,
well.
I didn't say the only way.
Don't you think
I said
that
this-
people
no, I didn't say the only way.
understand what's
I said the
good and what's
specific-
bad? Listen, if we're going to have a conversation, we can't keep talking over each other like this.
Rogan countered Yiannopoulos' beliefs, the latter of whom attempted to end the argument then and there. However, they continued arguing, resulting in an awkward and heated debate about the merits of religion.
Dressed like a wizard, sitting on a golden throne.
All right, we're done.
And you have to
We're
call
done.
him father. That
We're
all makes
done.
sense?
Number 5. Eddie Bravo. In addition to being a jiu-jitsu expert, Eddie Bravo is perhaps best known for his many appearances on The Joe Rogan Experience. Bravo has also developed a reputation of being a prominent conspiracy theorist and who believes that the Earth is flat.
In general, it's history, science, education, energy. Everything has always been controlled by the government since day one.
When Bravo attempts to explain his reasoning, Rogan has none of it and dismantles Bravo. Things soon get so heated that the argument turns into a shouting match.
Name's Eddie, and I
One
believe
by
the Earth's
one,
flat.
they're getting knocked
Hi,
down.
Eddie.
All you gotta do is look
Eddie,
into
they're
it.
not. They're not.
But Rogan doesn't back down, calling Bravo's beliefs insane.
Eddie, you're talking about the
I
Earth being
said this-
flat.
I'm
Thousands of
saying the
scientists
same
have
thing.
looked into it. You think they're all wrong?
Number 4. Steven Crowder.
If states want to legalize it, that's fine. But it is a valid issue when people of Colorado are looking at this now, and there are people in Colorado who might vote differently on the marijuana issue.
This guest is a popular conservative commentator, contributor to Fox News, and has his own daily political show, Louder with Crowder. While things started off relatively tame, all hell broke loose when the topic of conversation veered towards marijuana use and legislation, with Rogan arguing for its use. Crowder constantly tries to chime in, but Rogan doesn't let him.
Hold on. Stop.
No, hold on a second. This is
you
because you just
interrupt
run-
way too much.
No, no,
You need to stop.
you talk in
Hold on a
paragraphs.
second. No. I don't talk in
Go ahead.
paragraphs. I make full points.
Crowder later criticizes Rogan's attitude, to which he responds in kind by calling him names including cutie and sweetie.
Since you called me a fucking puss, and you do this with the crazy.
It is important to note that Rogan and Crowder enjoyed a few drinks throughout this episode, so it might explain why things went off the rails.
And for some reason, you're turning it into something hostile that it really doesn't need
It's
to be.
not hostile.
It is. It
Might
is.
be to you.
Yeah, it is.
You feel weird about it. I feel great.
Number 3. Nick DiPaolo. While appearing on The Joe Rogan Experience, this comedian and the host began arguing about Donald Trump. While Rogan stated that Trump was a persistent liar, DiPaolo begged to differ and sarcastically undermined credible sources like the Washington Post that have reported on Trump's inaccurate statements.
What are you pulling up?
I don't know.
Washington
We're gonna
Post?
ask.
DiPaolo held the opinion that the mainstream media was twisting Trump's words, even asking Rogan at one point to define a lie.
Lies about what? First of all, what's the definition of a lie?
Fed up with his lack of solid arguments, Rogan accused DiPaolo of resorting to whataboutism rather than presenting an actual point to defend his stance.
Whataboutism?
Yeah, when someone talks about something and instead of refuting it with facts, they go, "Yeah, well, what about Hillary? What about Bill? Bill did it too. What about this? What about that?"
Are you
That's
gonna- you're gonna
that's
tell
a
me-
whataboutism.
That's what I just committed.
That was a whataboutism.
Number 2. Brian Callen.
What do you have to say to me?
Bro, I watched a scary movie with him.
I might have to shut this podcast
Not yet.
off.
Not yet. We have to hold on.
This actor-comedian, alongside Brendan Schaub, is one of Rogan's favorite guests to have on the show. In this episode, however, Rogan had a different attitude, and with good reason. When Callen began boasting how tough he was as a person, Rogan and fellow guest Brendan Schaub were quick to put Callen in his place.
Here's the problem. You've talked to too many guys that let you say shit like that, and then it becomes like vernacular. It becomes like a part of the way you talk.
This is what I do. Brian, look at me.
All those
Look at me.
people that I know,
Hold on, he's got something to say.
that when I first met you,
Rogan suggests that the guest has been hanging out with the wrong crowd, and that these people let him get away with making ridiculous statements. Leave it to Joe Rogan to give someone a much-needed reality check.
you do. You hang out with a lot of people that are
such bullshit artists.
No, I
and you
don't.
don't. Yes,
My
you
good
do.
friends?
Yeah,
No.
you know
who
people.
I'm talking about.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Candace Owens. Speaking of reality checks, here's another guest who got on big time with the podcast host during her appearance. Speaking on climate change, conservative commentator Candace Owens expressed her opinion on the matter and how she doesn't believe it exists.
Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like I'm not saying like we need to like, trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change.
No.
Rogan was astounded, quick to point out the ridiculousness behind what she stated and how climate change is in fact very much real.
People are making it seem like that's something weird.
No,
it's not
that's
unique.
not. You're misrepresenting the issue.
To make matters worse, Owens couldn't present any evidence to back her claim. Rogan also went on to point out to Owens the dangers of making such a statement due to the immense following she has.
How about not have a belief until you
So,
really have
okay,
looked
so
at the
you
data?
would.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.